Hey, what's up, fish peeps? I'm going to do a little bit of video about what I feel is the top 6 fish keeping channels on YouTube. I'm going to rate them, give my humble opinion on them, give some pros and cons, what you can expect if you're not familiar with them. I've got to know all these channels over the last couple of years. I'm by no means an expert on any one of them. This is just what I have perceived and experienced in my time engaging with them and watching them on all the different platforms. And I have engaged with them through email, through comments on the videos, through live streams. These are all great channels. They all have a lot of value to add to the hobby, and they already have been doing that for years. And if any of them happen to come across this video that I'm doing on them, please don't think that's a knock on you guys. Hey, nobody's perfect. I certainly am not. Everybody has room for improvement. So if you see this video, take it as a grain of salt. Whether you care about it or not, or you don't care about my opinion, that's fine. I get it. Like I said, this is just a rating on the channels as I perceive them, and whether you want to take it and maybe improve or take it as criticism, that's up to you. It's just a video on how I see you guys. So I did leave out channels like Aquarium Info, because those channels, although they have a cool twist on things and it can add something else to the hobby, and you know, that works for her, she does a really good job over there, but this is for the true fish keeping hobbyists. The channel is more for entertainment. I don't know how else to say this other than, if I was an attractive woman in a bikini as my thumbnail saying I turned my whole house into an aquarium, I would have millions of subscribers too. But as a reality check, I'm a small channel. That's never going to happen. I'm not an attractive female, so it's not a shoe-in. So, and that's not a dig on her. Like I said, she does some neat things over there, but I don't have a bunch of money that I can put into videos to buy a house and turn it into an aquarium. There's other channels that do that. Those channels are mainly for views and notoriety. It does not really add any value to the fish keeping channel. So these are for the actual fish keeping channel hobbyists that are into it and add value to the fish keeping hobby. So enough said about that. Let's get right in to the first channel on this list. And I'm gonna have to go with the king of DIY first. You can't deny that this guy has brought uncanny amounts of value to the hobby. Over the years, he showed us all how to build aquariums, filtration, many different things. I can't even begin to list them all, and help us save money. Truly bringing value to the fish keeping hobby. Lots of knowledge about fish, so if you want to think about, if you had no experience with them, you're going to get a lot of information, valuable information that's going to only help you and help make things cheaper. And I love his energy. I can truly tell how passionate he is about the hobby. He's had a video about that some years back. So he truly deserves where he is. And great job to the king of DIY. But I want to go ahead and also lead into the cons of his fish keeping channel, the downsides of Joey Mullen, and what those are is arrogance. The guy is really arrogant. He's got a big ego on him, which when you kind of get that popular, it can kind of happen. Everybody takes that notoriety differently into different levels. And I think personally, looking at his videos from 5-6 years ago to now, you can see a big difference in his demeanor and his attitude and how he talks to people. I just saw him in a live not too long ago, and he just comes into the lives and takes over live streams and kind of makes it his own. And I don't think he means to do that all the time, but in the same sense, I think he does, because he wants to show his dominance. He likes to be domineering, and there's nothing wrong with that. That makes great leaders. But to be a leader, it's more than just taking it over and showing who you are. I'm the big guns. There's other ways and right ways to be a leader and not make people feel bad. He's already proved his worth over the years. Everybody knows who he is. He should be able to rest comfortable with that and not feel the need to come into live streams, totally take them over, and just listen and talk. And he does that, but that's like a double-edged sword type of thing, because he takes the time to come into us lower end channels and chat with us. I don't know any other big time YouTubers that do that, which is cool to him, you know, but I just think he go about it different ways. Some people that are more sensitive might take that the wrong way. I'm not one of them people. I'm not a snowflake. If he decided to pop into one of my lives, I'd be like, cool, don't bother me. I like him. But I would say that's his biggest downfall. I know lately he's been making a lot of other fish channels mad. Some of these channels you can't even mention his name. They'll put you on timeout if you do. And it's just like, you know, he's got this fight coming up, which is awesome, which is going to also get the fish keeping hobby out there. I think it's for a charity too. But either way, it's kudos to him that he's out there doing things like this. He's going to be fighting raw at you know, predatory fins. So that's going to be really cool. But all in all, I like him. Unparalleled knowledge and learning how to do things. Very good at what he does. Deserves to be where he's at, but maybe needs to work on that ego and that arrogance a little bit and bring it down a couple notches. But that's it on Joey. Moving on to number 2 on the list, and that will be Cory over at Aquarium Co-op. What another great channel and business that brings a lot of value to the hobby. The guy's over there designing his own things, his own products to make things simpler for the fish keeping hobby. Note his easy line, easy green. His test strips saves a ton of time. He truly takes a lot of time and invests a lot into anything he makes, and if it doesn't live up to his standards, he'll discontinue. He recently did it with his heaters. And another thing I like about him, he'll come right out and tell you why. He does, you know what I mean? So not only does he have a lot of knowledge that he can add to the fish keeping hobby. Anytime you Google something, Aquarium Co-op comes up. Same with the DIY King, right? But if you Google something about the fish keeping hobby, a lot of times Aquarium Co-op comes up. And I love how everything is broken down. He breaks everything down and explains it in his wording that even the newest newbie to the fish keeping hobby can understand. And that is valuable and priceless in its own. If you have a question about anything, he's been there, he's done it, he's tried it, and the information's out there. And his customer service with his business is A+, fantastic. He prides himself in that. The guy has done a great job making his business into an empire, and it's only climbing, and great for him. Like I said, you just can't beat the knowledge that he has. He live streams, he interacts with people. He's a pretty down-to-earth guy. He doesn't get mad, he doesn't argue, he doesn't fight. He keeps himself very professional and gives you them inside looks into his fish room and what he's doing, and takes valuable feedback and really uses it. He doesn't just ask for feedback as a formality. The guy really uses this stuff and always likes opinions because that's how he improves his business. Now, there is that fine line. He knows where to draw that. You know, he's a nice guy, but he also knows when to not be walked on. So if you've never heard of Aquarium Co-op, which I'm sure everybody has, that is a fish keeping channel you're definitely going to want to check out. It's kind of impossible not to because he's everywhere. So let's talk about the downsides that I feel that Aquarium Co-op has. And that is going to be, over time, I think Cory has become more of a salesman and less of a fish keeper. Now, again, when you have been doing it as long as he has, he's done everything, he's tried everything, there's nothing new to him at this point. You get kind of bored of the same old questions and all that stuff. I get it. I couldn't imagine years of answering the same questions over and over and over and over again. I get it. These guys get sick of it. But he's got a team now that can handle that stuff. He really don't have to worry about it as much. He can focus on his business. He can focus on improving his business and his products. And he can focus a little bit more on talking with his fans and his subscribers and his members and all that. But I would have to say, the only downfall that I can see from Aquarium Co-op is they really have stepped it up a notch and becoming a salesman. But he's in it to make money. He's running a business. He's got to make money, and that's what it's all about. That's what we're all here, trying to turn over that mighty dollar. But there's ways of doing it without trying to push product and push sales so much. You have a website for that. You have ads for that. There's lots of ways to do it. So I think we just, if I was him and he's seen this video, I wouldn't get mad. I would take it as, okay, maybe I am. When I'm on my live stream, maybe not speak about pushing the products. You can talk about them, but you don't need to push them. So that's the only thing I would have to say is a downfall about Aquarium Co-op. Let's talk about KG Tropicals. Now, I really like John and Lisa over there. They do a great job. They're, out of all of them, they're probably more my style. They don't take anything too serious. They have fun, which is important. If you're not having fun doing this anymore, what's the point of it? They like to interject a lot of humor, and most of his videos truly make me laugh. I like his style. Again, another fish keeping channel that adds a lot of hobby, or another fish keeping channel that adds a lot of value to the hobby. They've been doing it for years. They know what they're talking about. Well-informed advice, and he also runs an online store too. I've seen videos about him trying to improve his processes with his business, about, you know, different boxes and packaging, and that, you know, him taking time to do that not only saves him time, but it saves the consumer money too, because the more efficient you make your business, the less money you spend, the cost can go down. Now, we can all only do that so much. We're all at the mercy of, you know, inflation and stuff, so, you know, everything rolls downhill. So they can only save costs so much, but the fact that he was taking the time to do those things and even show that he was, speaks volumes for anybody that's running a business, because they could just keep it one way because they don't feel like improving it. They just want to keep doing what they're doing and push product out. He takes the time to improve his processes, much like Aquarium Co-op does as well. But I love these guys. They're more my style. They add a lot of humor. They add a lot to the hobby. They don't take everything too serious. They're not snowflakes. They run a good business, and I've talked with him through email, and I had a question about food, and before I didn't even have to reply after he answered my question, because he answered everything to the T. And all that tells me is he's been through it a million times. So he really was able to put out that fire for me when I had questions about fish food. And like I said, I didn't even have to dig to get those answers. He knew right off. He put it out there, which I thought was awesome. You know, he sells things at a good price. And well, I'll get into the downsides of KG Tropicals as far as my opinion goes. I would say when I first started watching them, their live streams were the biggest thing. It was really cool. I loved how they were set up. There were so many people watching, it was hard to get a question answered, but that's going to happen when you have that many people watching your live stream. I did get a few answered over that time, but I would have to say the live streams went downhill, and then they tried changing their channel, and then it went from live streams to premieres, and then we had vlogs, and just all these different changes over the last year, trying to do different things. And I think it was just because, again, the guy has answered all the questions a million times. He's looking for something new to add to the hobby, bring something different, and I think he still struggles with it to this day, of figuring out what I want to do to continue my channel and continue bringing content, but keep people engaged. It's a really hard thing to do. So I just believe it's a fight, and just trying to keep that alive is why he's doing so many changes, at the same time making it so he likes it too. So if he's not enjoying what he's doing, he's probably just going to stop making content altogether. So it's good that he's trying different things, but I don't think that he has found that niche yet where he really figured out what he wants to do exactly 100%. But that's why we try different things and try to get there. Now, this channel is definitely for you, but it's not for if you're looking for fish keeping answers. You know, another thing with his live streams is he would get off track, and half the time we're not even talking about fish keeping, but he openly admitted he does that on purpose because he can't sit there and talk about fish all the time. He's been living and breathing it for years. He's answered all the questions, like I said. So they like to break it up and talk about different things. Some people appreciate that. I've seen a lot of comments during a live stream where some people don't. You know, if you're a fish keeping channel and you come into a live and you're talking about a baseball game or a concert, people don't like that. But there's something for everybody on YouTube. If you don't like that, you might want to try one of these different channels. But they generally stick to the hobby, and a lot of good content. But if you're sensitive, this channel is not going to be for you, because they don't sugarcoat anything. They know what they know, and they're not going to change that opinion for anybody, and they don't have a problem saying it right to your face. So if you are a sensitive person, this is not going to be the channel for you, because they're right out there with how they feel, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. You can go. That's the way they are. But I like them. Great channel, great value. Just can be a little abrasive, and some of the humor you might not like. It's not for everybody, but for me, A+ on KG Tropicals. Talk about number 4 on the list, and that's going to be Kev over at Caveman Aquatics. So what can we say about this guy? Well, he has a clear and calculated knowledge about fish keeping for modern day fish keeping. He's very much about the products and pushing product. He's very knowledgeable. He knows what he's talking about. He keeps a variety of fish, mostly cichlids, stingrays, and things like that. When he makes a video, it's clear, it's concise. When you're done watching it, you don't have questions. You understand how it's supposed to work, and going forward from there. If you don't get it, you can always rewatch it. But when you watch his videos, you can tell that he's passionate about the hobby. You can tell he has experience, and you can tell moving forward that when he makes his videos that you are going to understand by the time it's done, even for the newest newbie in the fish keeping hobby, they're going to be able to get started, have a tank, and know what's safe and what's not safe, anywhere from the nitrogen cycle to medications to what to do in certain scenarios and moving tanks and, you know, testing all the aspects. He's got you covered. He's good at it, and I like him a lot. One great thing that I have found over all the others with Kev is that he will always reply to every comment in my experience. That's very rare. There's been many times I left comments and never got a reply. But every time I've left a comment on Kev's videos, I always get a reply, and I even told him that, and he understands the value in that. So that's something very rare and very positive you get with him over there. Kev's also another one that's not afraid to share his ups and downs. He shares his successes, but he's also not afraid to show his failures, which is another rarity, you know. And he does this for the better of the hobby, which is fantastic. Speaks volumes for him. I want to go ahead and talk about the downsides of Kev and what I've experienced. And the top of that list would be he has turned into a major, among any of the other channels, a major salesman. He is a rep for CChem. He's constantly and very pushy with pushing these products. He doesn't beat around the bush about it. He's going to straight up push products. He's all about pushing products, making sales. I think recently he even has his own fish keeping app that you can download. He was trying to get into NFTs at one point, and I think that failed and he got away from it because NFTs can be very volatile type of thing. They can be dangerous to get into, and I think he realized that and got away from it. But yeah, he pushes products a lot and has turned into a big salesman, and I think that puts a lot of people off. Another thing I've noticed about Kev is that he's not afraid to kind of mock other fish channels. I've seen it several times now. The way he does it, I think it's funny. He adds, like KG Tropical, some humor into his stuff, and I do get a kick out of it. But there are ways you can do it without mocking other channels and keeping to yourself. Some people don't appreciate that, especially if you're more sensitive. But some people always like to hear, you know, his truths and get a kick out of it. Like me, I think it's funny, but in the same sense, I also know that there's different ways to go around instead of mocking these other channels. So that would be the biggest two downfalls of Caveman Aquatics. Other than that, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, nobody's perfect. We all have our quirks. We all have our downfalls. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Anybody watching this video right now might be pointing out a million things that's wrong with me or how I talk. You know, it just happens, especially when you're on social media. But you can't be afraid to take criticism either. And like I said at the beginning of the video, that's what all this is about. I'm just giving my 2 cents on these videos, and it's not to dog them. It's just if in case they see it, maybe take it as improvement. If it makes them mad, there's nothing I can do about that. That's not what it was meant for, because I mean, if you've watched any of their videos, they have no problem talking about other fish keepers or other people online putting videos out. So you know that they should be able to take criticism themselves, right? So let's move on to number 5 on this list. Father Fish. An old school fish keeper that's forgotten more than I know. He's very passionate about the hobby, to the point he actually starts getting mad when he's trying to explain things. He's very all about the natural tank. And I think Kev and him are going to clash all day long, because Kev pushes product and Father Fish is about being natural. Get the products out of there. You're putting poison in the tanks. You don't need it, blah, blah, blah. It goes back and forth, you know. But Father Fish truly does have his own coined phrase in the fish keeping hobby, the Father Fish tank. Natural, dirted tank with a sand cap and fungus and his whole little things he made up that you can buy to make the actual Father Fish tank. And it works great. You don't need filters, you don't need to do water changes hardly at all. The plants are your filtration. If you don't know about Father Fish, you definitely want to check him out. You're going to learn a lot. And what I like about Father Fish is not only do you learn about fish and fish keeping, he also teaches you all about the science behind it. So he not only makes statements about something, he can tell you why with the science behind it, which is very cool. It's like a one-stop shop, and he will explain to you that he's very against companies selling you things that you don't need. He's from the older generation. They don't like the fluff. They don't like wasting money. Get rid of the fluff. This, you don't need this. It's all in for the health of the fish and making the fish healthier, because anytime you put product in a tank, you are putting chemicals in a tank, adding something that, do you really need it? Really, do you? And that's his whole MO with that stuff. Let's talk about a little bit more about father fish. So you can tell he's super passionate about the hobby. He's a very down-to-earth type of guy. He will get back to you in the comments. He does very good in the live streams. His videos are getting better and better. His live streams are fantastic. He does show and tells where other people can come up and show their tanks on there and kind of rates them a little bit. But he's a very to-the-point person. He's very blunt. And I would say, as for a downfall with a con to father fish, would be the fact that he's crabby. He can have a little bit of attitude when he's talking to you, which definitely will rub people the wrong way, especially if you're more sensitive. But if you're looking for a channel to where you want to learn how to keep fish naturally, not using products, and hey, the natural method's always good, right? If this is the type of fish keeper you want to use, as long as you can put up with a little bit of, attitude every once in a while, being crabby, you'll be good to go. He's a great guy, and he loves to teach. So that's definitely the channel you're going to want to head over there to and see father fish. All right, well, let's check out the last person on my list. Let's get right into it. Backed up with a biology degree and a tuned-in fish keeper, Caveman Aquatics. Couldn't put him on this list. If you've never seen this guy, you know when you go over there, you're getting nothing but facts. I've seen him debunk several things in the fish keeping hobby that once thought was true that's not. For example, it is fine to wash your media in tap water. It just does not kill enough bacteria off to become a problem. I learned that from him. And he proved that with not only his own degree and his own knowledge, but he talked to other scientists. It just does not kill enough bacteria off to become a problem. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the channel. He has fantastic species profiles, plenty of them. Anytime you Google something, a lot of times his videos come up if you're wanting to learn about different fish. He has a great fish room. His live streams are very relaxed. He doesn't get too excited about nothing. He's got his hands deep into every aspect of the fish keeping hobby. He's been doing it a long time, and if you have any questions or advice and you get them from him, like the other ones on this list, you're going to walk away with facts. But with all channels, they all have different ways of fish keeping. It's your channel. Do it the way you. It's your hobby. Do it the way you want. And they all understand that. At the end of the day, if your fish are happy and healthy and you're not having issues and they're not getting sick all the time, you're doing something right. But if you're not, you might want to check any of these channels out, and they're going to help you for sure. But just keep in mind, there's a lot of conflicting advice in any and everything. So let's talk about the downsides of Caveman Aquatics. Although he sticks to the hobby, which is nice, he doesn't veer off. He sticks to the fish keeping hobby, which I like. The guy is a professor at a college, so sometimes the live streams can feel like a lecture from a teacher, and you're starting to get tired. Like when your teacher's up there giving a speech and the students are falling asleep, you can get that vibe a little bit from his channel because it's very relaxing. And let's face it, he's a professor. It might carry over into the fish keeping channel a little bit. He does interject a little bit of humor, but he's one of them serious guys that stick to the hobby, throws in a joke here and there, which some people like and appreciate. Like I said, there's a channel out there for everybody on YouTube. You just got to pick the one you like and go with it. Me personally, I like to go with all of them because it makes you a more well-rounded fish keeper. As with anything, if you're not willing to go out and get outside of your comfort zone, and that includes these creators as well, if you're not willing to get outside your comfort zone and learn different methods, you're never going to be a real well-rounded fish keeper, because there's no way you might find something new. Sometimes you can't read things in a book. Sometimes you can't find it on research, right? But that's it. Let me know what you think of this video. I certainly appreciate your time with me. Leave some comments below if you have any questions, and leave your experience with any of these guys that I've talked about. I'm considering doing a series on a video like this, and my next one would be like the mid-grade fish keeping channels, like your Benno charts, your LRBs, Alex at Fishery, channels like that. And then when that's complete, I thought about going to the lower grade channels, like myself, like Patty's Aquatics. There's a lot of us down here. I thought about picking some of those guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. I did put a community post out on it, but we'll see how this one goes, and we'll go from there. I might not continue with it. And till next video, guys, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your week.